What's up everyone? Alex here, and there's so many visual novels out there. I only say that because in addition to having plenty of visual novels coming out on the regular, there's only a few that one can truly consider as representing the best the genre has to offer. It's with this reason that I took this recent stab at Murder by Numbers, a game from the same people who worked on the international remake of Hatoful Boyfriend. I'm thankful that I did, because not only did I wind up loving its story and wonderful cast, but I also got to flex my puzzle-solving skills by learning how to Picross for the very first time. Murder by Numbers is a murder mystery game set in Los Angeles in the mid-90s, presented in a visual novel format featuring copious amounts of Picross puzzles. You follow the adventures of Honor and Scout, an unlikely pair of heroes whose destinies propelled them together in solving several crimes. This wasn't always the case though. Scout, an amnesiac robot, found himself discarded in a junkyard without a clue about his past, and happens to stumble upon Honor Mizrahi, a TV actress who just struck out in Hollywood during his aimless wandering. Due to a bizarre murder that occurred at Honor's former place of employment, the pair is forced to work together to uncover the mysteries of what really happened, setting them on a path that will change their futures forever. The introduction of Murder by Numbers' investigative gameplay is tightly woven with the game's narrative, providing quick tutorials that'll get you up and running in no time. Your investigations will consist of traveling to and from different locations, questioning eyewitness accounts, scanning an area for evidence, and presenting said evidence to eyewitnesses. You won't be punished at all for presenting the wrong evidence, and some eyewitness responses might even give you a chuckle or two if you tried them. At the heart of Murder by Numbers gameplay are nonograms, or, as it's widely known in video games, Picross. These nonograms represent Scout's visual acuity, and you'll have to piece together what he sees to advance the investigation. This is done through the aid of clues that tell you how many sets of filled-in squares there are on a row or column. For instance, a clue that reads 7, 3, 2 means that there are sets of 7, 3, and 2 squares, in that specific order, filled in, with at least one empty square separating each. You'll repeat this process until the entire grid is filled, revealing what Scout's really looking at, which can be used as evidence in Honor's investigations. There's a wide variety of beautiful nonogram patterns that can be found in Murder by Numbers, starting off simply with 5x5 grids, ramping up to massive 15x15 grids soon after. Whether you encounter a traditional square grid or one that's rectangular, it's kind of fun to try to guess the image that you're trying to construct. Mind you, I'm just talking about a little metagame that I'm playing, as you don't really need to guess at all what the object you've uncovered really is. But I find that there's a charm in seeing a picture pieced together as you're revealing it, and trying to guess what you think it'll turn out to be at the same time. While scanning the environment is the most common way you'll be encountering nonograms, Murder by Numbers also has a timed version of these puzzles in the form of a hacking minigame that you'll encounter via the story. In this version, you'll be given multiple 5x5 grids that you'll have to fully solve one after another within the given time limit. Initially, I kinda stressed out when I first encountered one of these puzzles, thinking that I wasn't ready for any of them. But the more I played the game, and the more of these that I came across, it began to feel as though these types of puzzles were a way for the game to reflect back what I couldn't see. That I'd gotten better at solving these nonograms since I started, and that I'd be prepared for the challenges ahead. Outside of that, these time puzzles also serve as a nice break from the massive grids you'll be encountering a lot of in later cases. For novice Picross players, you have the option to select an easier difficulty, turn on hints that'll highlight some noteworthy numbers in the clues, and an assist option that can aid you in a variety of ways. Choosing an easier difficulty as well as using assists will affect your score, but anyone who can solve these nonograms without doing any of these will get bonus points that'll help increase your detective rank. Going up in rank will unlock some side puzzles that you can tackle in Scout's interface, which are mostly just for fun. All of these different gameplay styles are tied together by Murder by Numbers' presentation, which offers a glimpse into an era long past. Almost everything in Murder by Numbers is themed to the aesthetics of the mid-90s, splashed with bright neon colors and sharp angles that you might find on a Trapper Keeper from that era. Even its characters are rendered in a rough cutout style that allows them to contrast from the rendered environments, and their clothes evoke both the fashion and look of the time. Complementing these visuals is a soundtrack from Masakazu Sugimori, best known for composing the soundtrack for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, as well as Beautiful Joe and Ghost Trick. Sugimori's style lends itself much to a 90s-inspired soundtrack, so the oral crossover into Murder by Numbers sounds like a natural fit for his compositions. Sugimori isn't the only carryover from Phoenix Wright, however, as some of the game's sound effects and reaction stingers will all sound familiar to fans of said series. In fact, the use of puns in both the game's dialogue and its character names are also carryovers from Phoenix Wright. While I recognize that these details might be lost to anyone who's never played said series, this fun wordplay helps balance out the seriousness of the game's narrative, offering a welcome respite in between the seriousness of some of the crimes committed and chunky bouts of puzzle gameplay. These few details help give Murder by Numbers a sort of separated at birth kind of relationship with Phoenix Wright, almost as though this was a long-lost game from that particular series. If it's not apparent by now, there's a reverence to said series that was present throughout my experience with Murder by Numbers, and it's one that only enhanced my experience of it. However, this forces me to draw comparisons between both, and to that end, the prevailing mood of Murder by Numbers seems to be more consistent compared to the often roller coaster kind of experience that Phoenix Wright delivers. Thinking of the 90s as a time period, an aesthetic, and a state of mind, Murder by Numbers utilizes its choice of era much to its advantage, sometimes evoking the kinds of ridiculous moments that Phoenix Wright delivers without going too over the top. This somewhat restrained approach is what gives Murder by Numbers an identity of its own, separate from the series it reveres so much. One aspect of the game that shows this is the way that it handles its characters, from their design to their personalities. Murder by Numbers cast was designed by Hato Mota, the creator and designer of Hatoful Boyfriend? Wait, really? I thought they were just pictures of birds. Anyway, the story was co-written by Ed Fear, the writer of The Swords of Ditto. I'm not familiar with Mr. Fear's work, but I do want to commend and bring up his handling of a particular storyline involving LGBTQ in the game. Though some of that dialogue might come off as preachy to some, I appreciate the lengths in which the game tries to clarify the subject matter involved, since it's also a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. Beyond that, Murder by Numbers' narrative was very easy to get into, and made me play the game for several days straight. Barring Picross puzzle exhaustion, of course. This was mostly driven by the fact that I really truly wanted to see Honor and Scout succeed in their personal journeys, and the payouts that the story doles out on occasion help propel my interest and the narrative forward in ways that only a well-told story could. Sadly, Murder by Numbers is not without some issues. Specifically, if you take advantage of saving the game while in the middle of solving a puzzle and then reload said save, all your completed rows and columns will be unmarked as though you hadn't completed them. You'll have to remove blocks only to put them back in for the puzzle to properly reflect the change. I have no way to confirm if this is happening on another platform, but I was able to repeatedly recreate this on the Nintendo Switch. Granted, I can see how this behavior may be by design, but as someone who's new to Picross, I found it jarring at best. Another issue rendered my puzzle cursor completely immovable, forcing me to completely restart the game from the Switch menu, which, you guessed it, forced me to save my progress, only to deal with the other issue I just mentioned. I'll admit, when I first heard of Murder by Numbers, the name immediately painted a picture that betrayed the game itself. I remember saying, why the heck would I play a game that sounded so grim? And yet now that I've learned so much about it and played through it, I couldn't have thought of a better name. Murder by Numbers also couldn't come out at a more opportune time for me, when I've been lamenting the state of storytelling in modern visual novels, with this game reminding me of why I love this genre so much. Its low-stakes investigation may not be to Phoenix Wright fans' liking, but there's no denying that Murder by Numbers' DNA expresses adoration and reverence to the beloved series. And the combination of these elements with Picross proved to be a fun and enticing way for me to learn and be good at solving these dang puzzles. With the kinds of feelings it gave me while playing it, I don't think it's hyperbole for me to say that Murder by Numbers is one of the best games I've played this year, and I, for one, can't wait to see where its heroes are off to next.